Fictional Sherlock Holmes, first among fictional detectives. Another of Doyle's characters was the formidable Professor Challenger, a ferociously rational scientist. Doyle evidently admired both, yet he allowed himself to be fooled by a childish hoax in a way his two heroes would have scorned. Literally childish, for he was gulled by a pair of playful children who made trick photographs of winged fairies. Two cousins, Elsie Wright and Francis Griffiths, cut out pictures of fairies from a book, stuck them on cardboard, hung them up in the garden, and photographed each other hanging out with them. Doyle was only the most famous of many people fooled by the Cottingley fairies hoax. He even wrote a whole book, The Coming of the Fairies, pushing his strong belief in those little winged people flitting like butterflies from flower to flower. The irascible Professor Challenger might have roared the question, from what ancestors did the fairies evolve? Did they arise from apes independently from ordinary humans? What was the evolutionary origin of their wings? Doyle himself, as a doctor knowing some anatomy, should have wondered whether fairy wings evolved as projections of the shoulder blades, the ribs, or something completely novel. For us today, the photographs look obviously faked. But to be fair to Sir Arthur, this was long before Photoshop, and it was widely believed that the camera cannot lie. We of the internet-savvy generation know that photos are all too easy to fake. The Cottingley cousins eventually admitted to their prank, but not till they were over 70, and Conan Doyle long dead. The dream continues. It lifts our imagination every day as we fly through the internet. As I type these words in England, they fly up into the cloud, ready to come down to an American computer. I can log into an image of the spinning world and fly virtually from Oxford to Australia, looking down on the Alps and the Himalayas on the way. I don't know whether the anti-gravity machines of science fiction will ever become real. I doubt it, and will mention the possibility no further. Without straying from science fact, this book will list the ways in which gravity can be tamed, though not literally escaped. How have humans with our technology and other animals with their biology solved the problem of rising above the solid ground, escaping, if only temporarily or partially, the tyranny of gravity? But first we need to ask why it might be a good thing for animals to get off the ground in the first place. What, in the world of nature, is flight good for? Chapter 2. What is flight good for? There are so many ways to answer this question, you may wonder why we should even bother to ask. We have to go beyond dreams of blissful floating among mythical clouds and, forgive me, come down to earth. We have to give a precise answer, and for living organisms, that means a Darwinian answer. Evolutionary change is how all living creatures got to be the way they are, and, where living creatures are concerned, the solution to every "what is it good for" question is always, and without exception, the same: Darwinian natural selection, or survival of the fittest. What then, in Darwinian language, are wings good for? Good for the animal's survival? Yes, of course, and we'll come soon to the many particular ways in which that answer plays itself out in practice. For example, spotting food from above. But survival is only part of the story. In a Darwinian world, survival is only a means to the end of reproduction. Male moths typically use their wings to surf the breeze towards a female, guided by her scent. Some can detect it, even if it's diluted to 1 part in a quadrillion. They do it by means of their huge and highly sensitive antennae. It doesn't help the male's own survival, but as I said, survival is only a means to the end of reproduction. We can refine that statement yet further, and in doing so we return to the idea of survival. Survival not of individuals, but of genes. Individuals die, but genes live on as copies. The kind of survival that is achieved by reproduction is the survival of genes. Genes, the good ones anyway, survive through many generations, even millions of years.